Evolving Lens. Thank you so much for joining us today. Let's begin with a brief introduction about yourself and what do you do at work.
Firstly, thank you for inviting me, and it's great to be here. I have more than a decade's experience of implementing intralogistic solutions within warehouses and within supply chain, and making sure that my client gets the right solution and he utilizes his warehouse and supply chain to this maximum extent is what I do in 80% of the time, and that is what is it mostly in broad strokes. But having said that, there are products which are used to sustain this vision. So that's what we try to do with our customers, is that we do not like to be a product supplier, but rather we would like to be a partner and a solution provider. Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, sustainability is the vogue term right now. Everybody wants to be sustainable. UAE, especially with its COP28 objectives, wants to be sustainable. Now, a big part of the sustainable part is to make your supply chain more sustainable, right? Now, how do you make your supply chain more sustainable? First thing to do is when somebody is trying to build a warehouse, it all starts with the basic design of the warehouse, right? The dimensions, the length, the breadth, where is it with respect to the sun? Is electricity available? Am I using my space effectively? How tall is it? How wide is it? So the building a warehouse is not very, let's be honest, it involves a lot of steel, concrete, civil structures. That's a lot of carbon into the environment. Now, when we are depositing so much carbon into the environment, shouldn't we be making sure that every square meter of that warehouse or the supply chain and the is utilized to its max potential? That is the first step. Then the second step is you have set up your beautiful facility, it's up and running, and it's all done. Energy saving, because UAE is in extremely hot weather here. So because of that, the energy saving is something we have to be very, very careful about. So how do you make sure your warehouse at 55 degrees is the most efficient when it comes to energy saving? So we help with that as well. So it starts basic with, it's very easy to say sustainable, but implementing it is the most toughest thing to do here, because everybody, you can talk in length, we can talk for days about sustainability, but I would rather talk about how do we implement sustainability. Rather, that would be the most important thing to do. Is
If you were to paint a picture of how warehouse has evolved in terms of sustainability, how would you do that?
it's the journey has been quite remarkable. When I started my career in India, warehouses were not even called warehouses; they were called godowns in India. So there's something which looks like this tentatively, and you dump stuff, keep dumping, right? That used to be what a godown used to be. Whereas now, uh, I mean, even India or UAE, it's completely different. It's a science to have a warehouse. Now, if you drive down Dubai, seeing solar panels on the roof of a warehouse is common. It's allowed. I mean, every client of mine, big or small, is saying, can my roof take the load of a solar panel? So, shall I design for that load right now? Can the electricity conduits take that? Earlier, warehouses used to be 8 meters tall. Now they are 21 meters tall because the machines are used. Thirdly, the machines which are used inside the warehouses are all electric now. Nobody uses diesel forklifts anymore. I mean, if anybody uses a diesel forklift inside a warehouse, you get dirty looks in 2024. So yes, there's a tremendous change from where we were.
Is the funniest or what is the most tedious client that you've met anonymously?
I mean, to be very honest, all my clients are good people and they mean well, right? They mean well. But the problem happens is when it comes to thinking of implementation, they're way off. because they have not seen, and they've not seen skeptical. And you won't believe, a huge retail giant, they're no longer there in India. Earlier, a racking company was asked by this CEO, a very intelligent man, and said, why should my warehouse be more than 6 meters tall? Land is cheap. I will buy more land. And so this gentleman honestly told him, you minimize this, you can go taller. You save the land, right? And he said, no, I'll buy more land. And the same CEO, 2 years later, built one of the tallest warehouses in India. So,
The advice on.
we at end of the day are advisors to our clients. So we try to point them in a more common sense and in a way that will help their operations. But sometimes what happens is, in a competitive environment, somebody tells the client what they need to know. Client says, your warehouse can be 3 meters tall, and one vendor goes, yes, it can be. And the client likes to hear that. But I would say most clients are very sensible, common sense. But the important thing is that we need to talk to them at the right stage, because if they've already designed it, it's very difficult to change anything. And then if a warehouse is already built, it's very difficult to change anything there as well, and it's too expensive. Actually, it's much easier to get it right when you build a new warehouse. Yeah, I think that is one way of doing it. Mm.
Like saving, buying more land, or is there any other extra factors that weighs in with the site and the land?
Excellent question. See, what happens is, say you are having a warehouse which is 1,000 square meters, as opposed to something which is 10 times bigger, is 10,000 square meters, right? Now, when you go horizontally larger, what happens is, your machines, they have to travel longer. Your people have to travel longer. It's much difficult to move horizontally as opposed to vertically. It's much faster to go vertically. Horizontally, and then when your warehouse is horizontally wide, another thing which happens is, you need more lights, you need more electricity, you need more people, security, cameras to manage. So your overall investment, if it's X, it goes up to 3X. I had a customer recently. He had 7 warehouses of various heights, and he called us to make the 7 warehouses into a single warehouse, 15 meters high. And we had to go to all 7 warehouses. We had a lot of surprises. And then we had to see, okay, how much stuff do you have in here? Nobody knew. Okay, so, and then after we implemented also, we had surprises, in the sense, I told the owner that after we implement your big facility, I'm very sorry to say, it's going to be full. Then he said, yeah, I know, but I have to do this investment. I said, okay, great. And surprise, surprise, we've implemented and handed over the system. Guess what? It's full. So now they have to build again now.
You want to convert 7 into 1.
Yeah, it worked, but the problem is that he's already hit this warehouse's peak capacity. Okay, so now if his business increases even by 10 or 12%, his supply chain is not ready to cope. So his warehouse guys cannot order more stock because his warehouse is full. Or he will have to outsource it, or because he's just invested. Because that's the next big thing which people get wrong is, what should be the ideal size of my warehouse, and why is it the correct size? That depends on my client's client, or the client. So, for example, third-party logistics companies, right? They build a warehouse for somebody else. It's not for themselves. It's for someone else. Now, whenever I go to these customers, I ask them a very simple question. Who is your client? Because his product will determine how you have to design this warehouse. Now, I've seen warehouses designed by third-party logistics people, beautiful, 20-meter high, beautiful to look at, but can't use it. Why? Because the pallet is too heavy. His client's products can't be stored in the racking system which has been designed. The MHCs can't manage it. So then it becomes, as the Indians say, jugaad system. Then make do with what you have. You're over a cup of coffee. You're discussing with your team that, listen, I want to build a big warehouse, right? I'm going to do this. Now, what's the purpose? What are the objectives of the warehouse? The first question we have to ask, right? What do we need to achieve with this warehouse? Has to be clearly defined. After we define that, we say, okay, to achieve this objective, what are my sub objectives for this? Now, to achieve that, what do we need to do? What should be the size of the warehouse? How tall? How wide? What are the implement systems I need? What are the support structures? Where do I build it? Should it be near the port? Should it be near a facility? Should it be near a rail structure? What is it that I'm trying to achieve here? And when we are in the planning stage, you can take as many design stages as you want, doesn't matter. But the moment the first pillar comes up, you're already too late. And most probably what happens is we get involved when it is already too late. And then we have to make do with what's already there. So if I were to go back and I would say, we're going to build this wonderful facility. It is going to be looking amazing. It's going to look beautiful. It's going to look efficient, but it's full. So we need to at least have a 20% high buffer so that you can use your systems more effectively. Nothing should be pushed to its limit. Then we lose a lot of productivity because of that. So this is what is. Yes. So this is the common mistakes which happens because clients say, if you were to build a new house, forget a warehouse for a moment. Say you're building a house. You would go to an architect first and say, I need a beautiful concept. Then the architect builds something beautiful and says, there you go. That's your dream house. And then you go to a civil contractor and he says, wait a minute, I can't build this. How am I supposed to make the spiral go like that? I don't have a structure for it. Then you compromise and then it comes something meh. So that's what.
What was the most challenging project you've taken up?
Oh, okay. I mean, one of the most challenging projects.
A decade
Yeah.
of experience you must have, like memorable, challenging.
Yes.
Let's hear that.
I mean, some of the biggest challenges is for us, winning a project is only half the job. The other half of the job is implementing. So, beginning of my career, some consultants will know, so I will not say the project. So it was a project which we were supposed to implement. It's quite a tall, fully automated warehouse, right? It's a warehouse in which no man enters. Okay? It's completely automated. It's supposed to be world class, right? And we were supposed to finish it in 4 to 5 months. It's a very tight project. So we're all pumped up. We go there, execution point of view. First thing, the consultant has no idea what's going on. The building is not ready. The building and this area has political sensitive issues. So we can't deploy. Yes, I know. This is at the starting stage. So these are all surprises which we didn't consider. So you say we're going to finish in 4 months, right? Okay, because I have to do A, B, C, D, E. Now I can't deploy my own equipments. I have problems. I can only use certain things, labor restriction. And then we go there, and it's a very tall, 30-meter high warehouse. So the roof is not done, and the rainy season comes because the project is delayed. We are working literally. I had a Mickey Mouse raincoat on, and I was working on that. Okay, yeah, unload. It's an automated warehouse, but so what was supposed to be completed in 4 months ended up being done 12 to 16 months. So that was the disaster. Yeah, I mean that's where it happens. Is that it was early in my career, so that's when I realized executional point of view is to give people advice. Client might say, I want it done in 2 months. Okay. And it's our job to say, sorry, it's not going to happen. Now, if some vendor wants to do it in 2 months, he say, good luck to him. He might be Elon's cousin, so he got it done. Fine, no problem. But practically speaking, it's not going to happen. Yeah, so that's the other thing we are doing, is that executional point of view. How do we give them something which is executable, not give you something, some pie in the sky solution which can't be done, or even if done is some really fancy piece of equipment. Because right now the other big buzzword is AI. Everybody wants to do AI, right? Everybody wants AI. Everybody wants a chat GPT in their system somewhere. Great, good ambition. And in our field, there's another, is warehouse automation is a big buzzword. Automation, productivity, yes, great. That's what we want. Wonderful, good ambition. But yes, I mean, there are enough clients in the market who have spent tremendous millions on automation. Automation is beautiful when your system is has some sort of predictability. It's very difficult when it's highly unpredictable. That is one of the biggest challenges of any automation in a warehouse, because you have people working there and you have machines there, and that's a very dangerous thing to do. It's either has to be, yeah. So say for example, you have a warehouse, you have forklifts zooming around, right? Like goes here, goes there. Suppose you were to say half the warehouses are going to be fully automated AI forklifts, okay, which goes by themselves, okay, and the other half of the warehouse is going to be manually operated. I'm doing a test run, right? Now, machines needs predictability, so they need clear lines. So if somebody suddenly jumps out of nowhere, it needs time to react. Fortunately, the technology has reached that level where it can react, but still to an extent, which is one of the main challenges of implementing AI and automation on the road, is because of the unpredictability, because we are not sure what a human driver will do. We are not sure, so it's automation. So that is the thing, and the cost of automation is very high. So if you have to take the ROI on those investment, it has to really make sense for your operation. Your order processing volume should be that high, your output should be that high, and your business should really justify it. Then it makes sense. Because in Middle East, even now, the labor is not as expensive as Europe, and all that is still hasn't caught up to. But having said that, India is going in a big way into automation, so that's also good to see. Hmm. 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 Yes, I mean AI is it's going to get smarter. What is going to happen is the sensing of it. See, what is one big problem we have in warehouses is that we are not sure about what is the product which is there in the warehouse, right? So predictive ordering, that will help the entire supply chain. Yeah, I think any company should look at it. There are two cases to look at it. Case one would be your greenfield project where you're building something new, right? So there you have a golden opportunity to design sustainable solution from the ground up, right? That is the first step, wherein get the people involved, the right people who can design your warehouse from the ground up. Because when I'm building a warehouse, normally I end up calling a civil consultant. Now these guys are superb at building a warehouse at a very cost effective way. But the problem with that is that they know the civil part of it, but they don't understand intralogistics, which is the logistics within a warehouse. That's where people like me and MHE vendors, automation experts should get involved, so that we can design the inside, what happens inside the wall of the warehouse efficiently, so that we can, if all goes well, reduce the overall size of the warehouse, which in itself makes it more sustainable. Then the second point is the brownfield project, where it's already up, right? So it's already up, it's already working. There we can look at certain improvements to help them be more energy efficient. If it's a cold room, if it's not a cold room, if it's an ambient, we can also look at how we can do some natural lighting, natural ventilation systems, which helps the airflow better, keep the temperature down. All those we can recommend in brownfield projects where we can have certain improvements, because modifying existing warehouses can be quite and facilities can be quite expensive. As a closing remark, I would like to say is that we at Insolog here as a partner for all our clients, and we are not here just to sell you something. We want to solve your problems, and that's what we are here to do. And we will make it happen. Have a good day.
Please feel free to join Insolog at the upcoming SPLS episode 5, where you can see them. Alrighty, thank you so much, Arjun, for the conversation today.
Thank you for the invite. Cheers.
And that would be all for today's episode. If you enjoyed this conversation, don't forget to subscribe to our podcast and stay tuned for more exciting episodes featuring industry leaders from around the globe. Until next time, stay curious and keep innovating.